This is the Merchant Hotel, a luxurious landmark in a booming Belfast. Once a bank headquarters, its grand facade now conceals a sumptuous playground for the seriously wealthy. Powered by a large staff committed to five-star service. Hello. And classic cocktails.
Belfast is 110% a city on the move, and if you don't innovate and keep moving, then look out.
Business is like being on a down escalator and you're going up. The moment you stand still, you start to go backwards.
Attention to detail has to be one of the most important components of the job. We have very discerning clients. They notice when things aren't right.
The mother of the bride has a navy BMW 5 Series she would like to use along with our Rolls Royce. So she would actually like another navy BMW 5 Series, but it has to be exactly the same.
Guys, have a nice evening. Enjoy your evening, OK?
Passion, pizzazz, profit and personality. This is the story of what it takes to run a five-star hotel in today's Belfast.
It's like, you know, when you go to the gym and the last push is very difficult, and that makes all the difference. That's the one.
The hotel staff have assembled on the front steps for a very special event.
This year, we were awarded 5 AA Red Star status. So that was a huge achievement. It's the only hotel in Northern Ireland to hold that. It's been a long process. We've worked on it for a number of years now.
It's just cause for celebration, but no reason to rest on one's laurels.
We are now in a very elite group, and it was hard won, and it will be hard to keep.
We are visited twice a year by the AA, who come in completely off spec, and then as they check out the next day, just pass the business card over at reception and ask to speak to the general manager. So it's like being called to the headmaster's office.
To maintain this coveted five-star status, the hotel demands the best of service from its 350 staff.
Leave it on the bar just because of the hospitality exchange. The Merchant is a bit of a beast. It doesn't stop. Get the feedback on it, yeah? Yeah, sure. Thank you. People can't expect us to be lazy, or you can't just assume that we'll do. No, if it's not good enough, it can't go out. It needs to be perfect.
You're good at the curtains.
I just don't want to give anybody the opportunity to say, that's not right or that's not right, because then that can slowly spiral.
I think sometimes people think my job is I just run the vacuum cleaner around and it's done. We do try to deliver that untouched look. We don't want people coming in and seeing hairs from a previous guest or fingerprints or whatever mess.
But this place wasn't always a hospitality haven. The majestic Victorian building was transformed into a hotel just 10 years ago, when owner Bill and wife Petra dreamed up an ambitious project in a crumbling corner of the city.
We've been together for 16 years now. So by the time the Merchant came along, I think I was probably fairly well versed in stressful situations. It was our first hotel, and to have the aspiration and the ambition to create a five-star hotel as your first hotel is no mean feat.
Tourists were starting to arrive. Prior to that, if you found a tourist, you wrapped them up and brought them home and showed them off to all your friends, but they were starting to arrive in numbers. I thought that the hotels that were in Belfast were famous for being blown up, or if you got the luxury end, there was a sort of hotel where people wore slacks and loafers and had a jumper tied around their neck, usually salmon-coloured. And I thought there was a market for a luxury hotel that would be more relevant to people's lifestyles.
For their new enterprise, Bill and Petra found a long-forgotten gem, the old Ulster Bank in Waring Street.
I knew within 5 minutes of the complete walk around that this would convert into a hotel. You can see a magnificent building, but it had been for sale for a couple of years and nobody wanted to touch it. Nobody came to this area. This is what is now the Great Room Restaurant. Lots of people thought that the building wouldn't lend itself to what we knew the end product would be. So there was a lot of doubters. I've been going through all my stuff on my desk, and then I realised I found this one that my daughter did. Bill is a twit. There's a very accurate observation.
Even NITB, as they were then, Tourism NI, were really worried for us and had thought that we had very much bitten off more than we could chew, and that we were never ever going to get the room rates because we'd never be able to deliver on that level of service, and then if we did, there wouldn't be the market for it.
Against all the odds, the couple's hotel confounded its sceptics. And soon, a modern Art Deco extension was added.
When we built phase 2, one of the conditions was an archaeological dig. They found these eggs, for instance, which we were allowed to keep, and they found various pottery pieces. One of them had a date, which was 1684. In fact, if the archaeological people are watching this, is there any chance of me getting my piece of pottery back?
Bill elevates his keen eye for detail with an all-important personal touch, even in the hotel lift.
Back in the lift to listen to my dear wife's voice. Petra. It's Petra because it's just important. It's attention to detail. I've never been in a hotel in London yet that had an Irish accent in the lift, so I wanted a local accent in the lift. So Petra was put forward. She's got the poshest voice of us all.
The housekeeping department has 62 bedrooms to impeccably clean, polish and prep prior to guest arrival. It's a daily time trial for the team.
We do work in a pressurised environment all of the time because we're working to that deadline of 3 o'clock every day.
We don't want people to come in, guests come in and having to be told, oh sorry, your room's not ready. That can never ever happen here.
To up the pressure of that 3 o'clock deadline, housekeeper Tanya's hard graft is also scrutinised by Eve. Any stubborn stains or specks of dust will not pass muster.
Sometimes it's good when they call you back because you know small mistakes, what you do, what you think, so it's good, but it's not good enough. So it's always learning. Actually, the room, when the guest's coming, you need to feel nobody never having here. That's what, you know, you need to feel like this room never having used it because everything is so clean, so tidy.
This is a different level of cleaning. We clean some of the areas of the bedrooms with cotton buds.
So you just go and clean it around. Just see if it's clean or not. If you are happy with that, it's a good job. That means everything is nice. So toilet is done, just close it, wash it again, that's it. This towel is not the same like this one, so we must replace it. This part, see, is different from this one. Now we have both the same, so both exactly the same. So.
The team front of house is used to drama on their doorstep. But a fleet of luxury cars will test their talent to the limit.
I am just setting a plan in place for Aston Martin cars arriving. We have the Aston Martin Owners Club, and the cars date from 1932 onwards, so I've got experienced drivers ready and all for that. If you're not confident in driving them and you want the driver to go with you, feel free to ask them. They'll be happy enough with that. With it being the city centre location, we don't have much of a set-down area, so with cars like that being so expensive, they can't sit in the street for too long, so we have to have them parked as soon as possible. They've been instructed to come to Waring Street, yeah. Hopefully it all goes smooth and according to plan.
Concierge Mark seems chuffed with today's challenge.
I love my cars, so I kind of know what's coming before we see it. I love driving nice, luxurious, expensive cars, and even, for example, the key for this, the guy took it off us before. He said we're not allowed to have it because it's over £1,000 worth just for the key. It's a V12 Aston Martin Vantage, so it is over £150,000 for the standard model. It's one of the top spec Aston Martins you can get. When one of these comes, you know you're going to have a good day.
I actually thought that the owners would have been more protective over them, but they weren't. They were actually very laid back. This one is that orange one. The guys did very well. They're very brave parking cars like that.
The alarm keeps going off.
With 3 o'clock looming, Eve and Alice are still checking that all rooms meet their high standard. The slightest slip-up will not be tolerated.
Hello, housekeeping.
We're visually checking the room, the mirrored table, the curtains, the voiles, making sure there's no stains or marks in them. Work round, checking the desk, in behind the desk, the top of the socket, the plug sockets and things. There's so much I look after here, and you have to be in control of it all the time. I'm probably quite an intense person and passionate person, and I would be very focused on my job. There's no forgiveness in what we need to deliver. It has to be right. We do the top of the picture to make sure that that's dust free and there's no cracks in the glass.
If you run your hand along and you come across any dust, then you know you'll need the cloth.
We always leave the pen right to left.
As well as checking the cups to make sure they're clean, I have a little smell. Make sure they don't smell of coffee.
Checking here, the light bulb.
There's quite a lot of drawers in these rooms.
Soap dish, soap is presented neatly. There's no debris in the sink. Towel card is nicely presented. Actually, we'll get a new one of those because it's kind of gone curly at the edges. So we would just throw that out and we'd give that feedback to the room attendant that they should have placed a new one.
Making sure nothing has been dropped and maybe kicked under by the guest.
They'll carry a torch for areas like this down behind the radiator and things just to make sure that it's all nice and clean and they've washed the floor.
Again, just checking that there's no dust coming off anything. So she's done a good job.
She needs to come back then with her hoover and run the pile of the carpet up properly, because people would tend to leave handprints or write things in the rugs. Just those two glasses would need to be re-cleaned. There's a few little smudges on them, so she'll have to re-wash those and bring them back.
Downstairs, the room buzzes as afternoon tea is taken. A forgotten custom in the city, which the hotel has helped revive.
Afternoon tea really wasn't as much of a tradition in Belfast, certainly as it is now. We saw what was happening in London and Paris, where afternoon tea was making a real resurgence.
Thank you.
We visited a number of places. In Paris, we went to the Place Athénée, the Georges V, the Balmoral in Edinburgh, the Ritz, Claridge's, Savoy, Connaught, all of the main hotels that we had aspirations to. When we first went over, you sort of get bowled away with the level of service, and then when you start to break it down, you go, no, actually, we can do this.
It's head pastry chef Sarah who creates over 2,000 afternoon tea cakes and cute confections which are consumed weekly. It is a labour of love.
I like the afternoon tea. It's not the same old, you could come up with things and you can just use whatever ingredients you want and you can source different things and it's exciting. I know that sounds really sad, but it's exciting, Like I've brought different transfers and stuff in. They thought I was crazy. They were cow print. I'm trying to persuade them on pink leopard print, but I don't know if it's gonna work.
For herself and for the hotel's discerning clientele, Sarah has also had to master the art of perfection.
I just like things to be a certain way, My friends hate going out with me for dinner. Then when they get dessert, I'm like, well, that shouldn't be like that. Why is this like this? If I wasn't happy with it, then we wouldn't use it. If I'm not happy with something, we don't leave it around there because there's no point, So this is the finish now. Well, that's, nearly 800 cakes all prepared in 2 hours. This is not bad.
Not only do the hotel staff seek to please their guests, they also need approval from owner Bill, who regularly springs surprise spot checks.
I'm looking to make sure that the tiles are right and making sure the bathtub's spotless. And then I check that the soaps are at the right angle, the face cloths, and most importantly, that every light is working.
Bill, our owner, is very demanding also. He has certain expectations, both financial and in terms of service levels, where he would, it's his product, it's how he wants to see the product being delivered.
There's an understanding that I care, and they tolerate me.
A spade is a spade with Bill. Yeah, he'll just say it how it is. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. So we need to move on and do something else.
Each room has a position where the furniture is. There's a map that chair should sit there, that chair should sit out like that. Lights in the right position, art, desk, lights there a few inches away from the edge.
He would say to you, if it was your business, what would you do? And that's a great way to think, because if you give the wrong answer, he will tell you you've made the wrong answer. And he's like, well, no, it's my business and this is what you'll do. He's our best critic. He's my eyes and ears as well. He will come back to me and let me know if there's something that shouldn't be exactly as it is.
That lampshade is just a little bit down to the left, so I will straighten that up. My poor suffering wife has asked me to stop doing this, particularly when we go to hotels that we're absolutely nothing to do with. But I can't get out of the habit. I do that, and then I check my finger. Look, no dust. Perfect job.
Bill is out and about in the hotel constantly and has a lot of friends, and those friends will make sure that Bill knows if they had a nice experience, and we need to make sure we're always on our A game.
I have to turn the lights off because if I don't, the finance director will ring me up and tell me I've wasted 3p. So I have to turn everything off.
To create the perfect ambience for fine dining in the Great Room restaurant, the hotel commissioned Ireland's largest chandelier. It cost a mere £100,000, and its upkeep requires crystal clear planning.
I could just see the chandelier in the Great Room getting duller and duller and duller, and I thought, oh, I have to get that cleaned. Yet it's quite dirty at the moment now. You see the way as well, there's dust on the bits, the supporting arms of it. It's like furry here. That's a huge task, and it's quite a stressful thing to organise as well, because you're always so concerned that you're bringing a company in to clean this huge structure that was made. It's bespoke to the merchant. It's not as if we could just run out and buy another one.
Every time it comes around, it's a great expense to get the chandelier cleaned, and every time it comes around and we're getting ready to sign the bill, I go, does it really need done? And then the housekeepers usually remind me of, remember last year when we got it done, how happy you were with it, and you go, okay, sign the invoice and send it off, because you know that after they've walked away, you go, oh yeah, we should have done that months ago.
I take pictures of the before and the after then, just to see the effect of the cleaning, just to see the difference.
Cleaning the chandelier has to be done overnight, and all scaffolding has to be removed before breakfast.
Well, the plan is tonight, once the guests have just sort of left, we're going to put scaffold up around the chandelier, because it's not on a pulley system, so we can actually clean it, give it an annual clean. And what we're actually going to do is relamp it as well with these LED lamps, which were actually designed for the chandeliers in Versailles. The biggest problem is the access. It's the building off the scaffold, cleaning the chandelier a couple of hours, and then taking the scaffold down before people come in for breakfast. This is always the problem here. They'll be flat out, so they'll making sure to get it all completed on time.
It's a bit of a military operation to get that carried out, to get them in, get the scaffolding up, get any essential maintenance that happens at the time as well, and then get it all cleared down again and get the room ready for breakfast the next morning.
Assistant manager Stephen is on night duty, and with so much activity centred around the chandelier, he needs to stay wide awake.
Because we are a 24-hour operation, so we have to be manned at all times. We need to keep an eye to make sure that nobody sneaks in the front doors, because they should be locked at this time of the night, but with the guys in and out, it's not practical for us to close them and open them again. So it's quiet tonight, it's not too bad. And a few people milling about, but it's all right. There hasn't been any dramas so far, touch wood. I can see the difference in this side compared to the other side, the side that they've done. It's looking great. What time are we on now? It's just gone 3, so they really have to be finished no later than 5:30, 6 o'clock to get the restaurant turned back round for breakfast.
"5 a.m. and the Chandelier cleaners are done and dusted. But will Eve be pleased with the end result?
It's so nice to see the difference in obviously the crystals around the outside of it. The whole thing looks much, much cleaner than it did before. I think they have done a very good job, yes.
The hotel is gearing up for a highlight of Belfast's social calendar. The fashion tea event fuses cutting-edge couture and fancy cakes. A fashion show over afternoon tea and all for charity? What's not to love? With 5 fashion teas in just 2 days, cakes and curtains need to be perfect.
It's turned into an obsession. But I would be like that if I went down and was sitting somewhere and was looking at the curtains and they weren't straight. It would really annoy me. So, just close this side.
I do strive for perfection, so I'll be looking at things like the curtains and the candles and everything, but it's the minor details, I think.
Eagle-eyed Eve swoops in to confirm that everything is to her liking.
Some candle wax here to get that out. And some here as well. I don't know if it's candle wax or milk that's been spilt in the middle of the room.
This event was Petra's idea, so she too is under the spotlight.
Yeah. The fashion teas are my baby in that the concept was mine. They very much cemented our afternoon tea for us. So when you add a bit of fashion and some bubbles, it's not a bad way to spend the day.
With less than an hour to showtime, Operations Manager Ashutosh checks that everything is catwalk ready. And nothing escapes his gaze.
If you can start fixing the curtains, just give them a good clean, please. Sophia, that needs to be cleaned. Damien, come here please, Damien, for a sec. See the butter, Damien? Yep. See, it should be in the center. See, it's touching the saucer. In the center. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. From there, similar space, please. On each table, double check for me, please. Same here. If you bring me the window cleaner and cloth, and can you give a good clean to that television for me, please? Thank you. Johnny, when you're ready, just make sure go through each table. Make sure the cups are all like that. Take the chairs away and fix the carpet first. We'll fix the chairs later on. See that table? Needs to go right up.
Before curtain up, it's team briefing time with Rachel and Ashutosh.
Okay, guys, so let's talk business for today. Carl in the bar, we are trying to upsell the glass of champagne.
Just when you're going round, if you think people are near the end of their glasses, would you like another glass of champagne, madam? I have a special offer on today, £10 per glass of Moët Chandon.
Any questions for the first show? Anybody? Are we all clear what we're doing?
Right, there may be a slight error with the first show. Some people may have the wrong start time for the show, so some people may arrive a little late. We'll do a head count at 1 o'clock. If there are quite a few people missing, we're going to have to hold back the fashion show.
All right, guys, big smile. Thank you very much.
Been a few bumps, but as usual, we'll get through it and we will get through the day and everything will be okay. But so far, so good. Everything that has arisen, we've got over it. We're going to open the doors at 12:30.
and then they'll be served their champagne afternoon tea. So, and then the show will commence.
Over the next 2 days, it's all systems go, as the teams host 5 afternoon teas and 5 fashion shows. Show over, there's little time for backslapping, as the team must turn the room round in record time.
No worries.
Just getting ready now for the next showing. So we have to turn the whole room around in half an hour for the next showing at 2.
You focus to the glasses, we will do the rest.
Everybody has been stressed out at some point today, but everyone just keeps on going and gets the job done.
There's 13 tables on this plan.
There's no way we can put 13 table in there. It's already, we are tight in the 12.
I know what you're saying.
There is no way you can put 13 table, unfortunately. We're working through this way. When you're walking into the department, you're walking into the events room. The first thing is the first impression, and it's got to be right. If the candles are not straight, if the glasses are not put properly, because those small things makes all the difference, you know. Can you start making coffee as well? 45 minutes, half an hour. Not enough, but the business requires those timing, you know. We need at least an hour 15 minutes, but the show run very little late, so we have to just make it up.
Can you please make sure the bags are nice and straight and all crunched up?
We got a chair, but we didn't get a place sitting.
You get it?
Ready to go?
Turnaround complete. The front row fashionistas seek their seats.
We change the table.
All right.
Backstage, there's pressure on Petra to deliver a first-rate finale. And husband Bill arrives in support. It's a fashion tea triumph, and Petra's husband, hotel owner Bill, is much impressed.
That was fantastic.
Thanks,
it's the
honey.
best fashion show I've ever been at.
It's the only fashion show you've ever
Well,
been
it
at.
doesn't matter. It was really, I'm really proud of you.
Thanks, honey.
Really proud of Mummy.
Oh, thank you both very
Definitely.
much. Thank you.
Another slice of the high life inside the Merchant next Monday night at the same time here on BBC One Northern Ireland. Coming up, I'd say Charlie Brooker has plenty of material from last week's headlines. How I got a bit more news for you is on the way next.